this week's episode, I don't think we said that this is an original song that Timothy wrote. And so I will say that every time we've ever recorded a song, we always start with an idea and it usually ends up just a completely different thing that we never would have thought would happen, which I think is a positive thing. I would call it synergy at its finest work, I guess. And I always enjoy having Timothy write the song with me or whatever, or help with writing the song, because I can't put together a complete song because I always get stuck, whether it be in the beginning of the song or the end of the song. And so it's nice to have another brain come along and kind of take it another direction, because it usually gives you a fresh set of ideas that you wouldn't even think about. So this song especially, I know, I didn't know what I was going to be able to do with that second part of the song until I took your guitar out and just went with the bass.
Sure.
And it kind of inspired me to do something else that I wouldn't have done otherwise.
When he says take the guitar out, like he was saying, things change. So I had, in the process of the recording, things changed. So I had a really strong idea of how I wanted every one of the verses to sound. We'll call it the verse.
Yeah.
And as he sent me back, we got drums and bass and one rhythm guitar track for me, which was a pretty productive Saturday.
Yeah.
I usually don't get that much done. But so we got all that done, and he sent it to me during the week, and I was like, man, that's just really clashing with what's going on there. So, that's just one small way that something changed in the process of recording. So if you're a full band, you've got 2 guitar players and a bass player and a keyboardist and a drummer, obviously it's pretty easy for you to jam your songs out and figure out what works, and you make it a cohesive unit and take it into the studio. But for me and Matt, it's pretty much just me and Matt. And so sometimes we don't really know how things are going to turn out, because we try to jam songs and play songs and know what they're going to be, but we can't jam 5 instruments at a time. We're just 2 guys. So that's the reason I feel like a lot of it changes at times with us.
We used a ton of different pedals for like this recording, and I don't know how I'm going to go about showing all those that we used, but I know on the drums we used the Keeley Tone workstation, and we used the compressor for the drums. And do you remember what we had the compressor on? It wasn't the whole kit, was it? It was just...
Yeah, I think it was on everything except the kick. So we were trying to cut out some of the chiminess from the hi-hats and the cymbals.
Okay. So we used it on that.
Mm-hmm.
And then we used the Keeley Seafoam. I think we used the reverb on the drums a little bit. And then we opened it up and hit a trim pot, or switched a switch on the inside.
Sure.
And used it on the bass. And it acted as like a flanger, chorusy, tremolo thing on the bass on one of the parts. And I think we used a fuzz pedal on your bass a little bit.
I think so. It was pretty, and we also used the Lil AB switch.
Yeah.
So we were sending, I have a DI on my bass amp, and then he has a DI that's just his own unit that he uses, just a standalone unit. And so we were able to send a clean signal and our dirty signal, our signal with the Seafoam, and layer that, and then choose whether we wanted both of those tones at the same time, or a clean tone or a dirty tone. I think we just kept them both for most of the song.
Yeah. And so you used your Mesa Boogie Nomad 45, is that right?
That's right.
And then we didn't use any pedals on that. That was just an overdrive channel on your amplifier. And you were playing the PRS, I think, on that one.
That's true.
And then here, because we normally record drums and bass at your place, and we got some guitar parts done this time, which we normally end up doing guitars here. Because we have 2 different recording studios, because we're kind of a big deal. The glory.
That could be used for recording studios or big deal.
Yeah, right. Technology is awesome.
Yeah, I have many leather-bound books.
Yeah.
And my apartment smells of rich mahogany.
Yeah, mine smells like paint and a tube amp.
Mm.
I don't know what amplifier smells like that, but it gives it a baked caramel kind of odor.
I don't know if you know me.
He's kind of a big deal. So I think this is the first time since I've started the channel that I actually used my Mesa Boogie, and it's a Mark V 25. I used it on a few tracks, and I think I also used the Supro 1622 RT Tremoverb or something. I can't ever remember what it's got, like 12 different names. But I love this amplifier. It's really loud, and if my wife's home, she doesn't appreciate the loudness sometimes, which I don't blame her. But on some of the tracks I did here, I think I used Walrus Audio Slow for some ambient reverb stuff. I used a JHS Lucky Cat delay pedal on every track, and I mainly used it as a tone thickener rather than actual delay. That's my trick, I guess. If I use a delay pedal, I don't really go for the trail. I usually just try to make it sound like a thicker, like a double tracking, triple tracking kind of thing. That way I don't have to record twice.
I heard that.
Yeah. And then I also use the Keeley Tones workstation. I use the boost. I also use the clean boost and compressor. I use that every part of that pedal for your song, which was enjoyable. And I tried to play slide. That turned out okay.
In the intro, right?
In the intro, yeah. A lot of profanities in the recording of that, because I'm not a slide player. But
shouldn't have deleted those out.
They're pretty bad. It's not kid friendly.
This is a Christian channel.
Christian rock and roll. I think that's about it for right now.
I think so too.